What's gotten into Yoel Armia, and who's your Habs MVP? That and more on this week's Hockey Inside Out. Welcome to this week's edition of Hockey Inside Out, which is brought to you by Madison's Restaurant and Bar on Drummond Street in downtown Montreal. It's the one right across the street from the Bell Centre. I'm looking at the Bell Centre right now. It's inspiring because we're here right now in Madison's, if that isn't obvious. Today we have on the show our usual cast of characters. What's his name again? Stu Cowan from the Montreal Gazette, CBC Daybreak's Jessica Resnack, and Chris Nyland, and I am Adam Susser. Jonathan Drouin has been the most talented player in the Canadiens roster over the past 2 seasons, but he's rarely played like it. Plagued by inconsistency during his time in Montreal, it's been hard to tell whether Drouin ever really cared or cared a little bit too much. That is, up until this season. Granted, we're only 11 games in, but Drouin seems to have finally found his groove. He has 10 points, but more importantly, he's given fans and his teammates a taste of what it would be like if he continues to be the game changer that everyone knows he can be. That is why, 11 games in, I choose Jonathan Drouin as my Canadiens MVP. Who's yours?
Drouin to me is the most surprising guy. I'm going to go with maybe a little bit of an underrated MVP. I go with Jeff Petry. He has just been outstanding since the start of the season. He's played so well. He kills penalties. He can play on the power play. He's got the big shot. He's physical. He hits. And we saw that against the game against Toronto. And I just think he's taken a lot of pressure off Shea Weber. To me, Jeff Petry is now the #1 defenseman with the Canadiens. It shows in his ice time. So he's not the obvious pick, but I just think that Jeff Petry, to me, has just been such an anchor on the defense right now. And he's played just so well. And as I said, he can play in every situation. And to me, he's the underrated MVP so far.
I'm going to go with Brendan Gallagher just because he's been able to pick up where he left off the last 2 seasons. I remember when he first put up 50 points in 1 season, he came the next year and there were a lot of questions at the golf tournament. Will you be able to do that again? And he was surprised. He's like, of course, if I've done it before, I can do it again. And he wants to show that he can be that kind of player who's able to put up those kind of points year after year. And the way that he's so consistent with this team needs Brendan Gallagher to be that spark plug sometimes, and he's able to do that. And you never really see that much lull in his game. And so far, he's been very consistent and playing very well.
Yeah, listen, Petry is doing what he did last year. He picked up where he left off, and his role has increased a little bit as far as minutes. Gallagher doing what he did last year. Jonathan Drouin has changed it. He finished the season so miserably last year. Last 25 games did not give this team anything. His play so far early has been awesome, and I'd like to give it to Jonathan Drouin, but I'm not gonna. I want to see this over the course of the season. He's going to make me believe this is real. It's going to be all season we're going to see it, not here and there. So he's been consistent so far. For me, it's Yoel Armia. I like this guy when he got here. There were a lot of negative comments made about this player when he first got here. Oh, he's big, but he don't have any hands. He can't score, blah, blah, blah. I heard all the pundits talking about Yoel Armia his first year here. And last year he comes out, he got hurt. He scored 13 goals in 59 games. What a start he's off to this year. And he gives this team something they don't have, and that's size up front. Size that can play, not just run around and be an idiot, but he can play.
Well, that line with Armia, Drouin, and Domi, they're all first-round picks. And I wrote a column this week. There's 7 first-round picks on this Canadiens team, not all drafted by the Canadiens, obviously. So there's talent there, and Armia is now showing the talent that made him a first-round pick originally.
Armia is leading the team with 6 goals. Do you think he can maintain that pace?
I think he can. Listen, he has a perfect game for this league, especially on the road too. He's a big guy, can hang on to the puck, he can own the corners, he can protect the puck, he can get to the net, and he got great hands. I mean, the other night, not just scoring the goals, but he has a sneaky quick shot. But the backhand saucer pass to Drouin to send him on a breakaway, to have the presence of mind to see him there and to lead him perfectly with that pass. I just love the way this kid plays. This is the kind of guy you win with in the playoffs. This is the type of guy that can get you there. to the finals. But again, you need more than just him, but he's that type of guy.
Well, I questioned Claude Julien last year when he had Armia on the power play all the time. The guy had never scored a power play goal in his career before coming to the Canadiens, and he was out there and he sort of looked lost at times. But as you said, Knuckles, he seems to have found his groove. I think his confidence is so important. He seems to be confident now. He's playing with good players. He's getting a lot of ice time, and he's such a big guy. When you watch him in practice, he's just so talented. When you watch him shoot the puck, he's so strong. He can hold off a guy with one hand and keep the puck with the other hand. So it's nice to see a guy. And Marc Bergevin didn't give up much to get him either. That was a good trade that Marc Bergevin did, getting him and bringing him here.
I don't see why not that he can't keep this up. I think he's a player that has a lot to prove. As you mentioned, he was a former first-round pick. A lot of expectation on him, and so far with the Canadiens, he hasn't really lived up to that. But now this season, he's really been able to take advantage of the opportunities that he's been given and shown that he is a valuable player and a player that you can depend on. And I think that this is going to be his year, that we're going to talk about the breakthrough year of Joel Armia.
Well, he was a big star in Finland. Jesperi Kotkaniemi had a poster of Armia on his bedroom wall when he was a kid.
Wow. How old is Armia anyways? He's like 22?
Yeah.
Arturi Lehkonen's shooting percentage right now is 4.8. To put that into perspective, the average NHL player shooting percentage is around 9. Do you think Lehkonen should continue to play a role in the top 6?
I like him down in like the 3-hole, and I've always said, and I'll say it again, when Danault is a third-line center of this team, they'll be in good shape. And I say that not that he can't play, but he certainly plays both ends of the rink. He can play well defensively. He's a good face-off man, and he can contribute offensively. But Lehkonen, he gets opportunities. The coach likes him because he trusts him. He can create some things, but he's just not a finisher. And you have those guys in your team that can help you win if you have that depth. If you have good scoring in the top 6. I don't like him in the top 6 at all because he can't finish.
No, I think at some point I admire the way Claude Julien has broken Nick Suzuki in slowly, playing with Nate Thompson. But eventually Suzuki, I think, is going to move up into that top 6 role, and Lehkonen will move down. And if you have a fourth line of Thompson, Cousins, and Lehkonen, that's a pretty good fourth line. That's a line that's not going to be fun to play against. I mean, Lehkonen works his butt off. He hits. He does everything right, except he just can't finish. He can't score. But if that's your fourth line, that's a line that's not a lot of fun to play against. And maybe if Lehkonen's in a fourth line role and there's no pressure on him to score, he's not expected to score, maybe he will score a little bit more.
Well, that's just it, that Lehkonen has been probably one of the most frustrating players on the Canadiens to watch because he has all those chances, but he just can't bury them. And I think his time in the top 6 role has run out now with the Canadiens, that they've realized that he's not going to be able to all of a sudden turn the switch and find that confidence and find that way to finish. So they have to find a different way to use him in a more productive way. And perhaps on the fourth line, as you said, less pressure on him, that he can just kind of go in there and be sort of that secondary guy rather than one of the guys that they try and rely on to be a difference maker in a game and get that goal when you need it. But for Arturi Lehkonen, it just doesn't seem like he's going to be able to find that finish that he needs.
You wonder what happened from his rookie season. Was it 18 goals where he had as a rookie, and he can't score. I mean, he either hits the goalie in the chest or he shoots it over the net. It's as I said, maybe if less pressure on him might get him scoring a little bit more.
Okay. The first half of this show has been brought to you by Madison's Restaurant and Bar in downtown Montreal on Drummond Street. That's the one across the street from the Bell Centre. They do holiday parties and corporate events here. All right, going back to Nick Suzuki. He has 3 goals and 1 assist so far. An impressive rookie start to his season. Does he deserve more ice time?
It's going to come. I mean, Claude Julien has broken him in, as I was saying earlier. I think he's done a good job. And playing with Thompson, Nate Thompson is such a respected veteran. He's always in the right position. He's always in the right place. And talking with Nate about Nick the other day, and Thompson was saying, he says, he's just such a good kid. He's funny. He makes me feel young. And Thompson's playing like a lot younger than a 35-year-old guy. He's had jump in his legs. He's had it right from day one at training camp. But to me, he's been maybe their most consistent player. And just to watch them, it's sort of cool to watch them together. You know, Thompson's nickname is Uncle Nate, and he's sort of taken Nick Suzuki under his wing. And there's no better guy on that team right now for Suzuki to learn from. Learn how to be a 200-foot player. Learn how to be a center, which is where Suzuki might play in the future. And Thompson, you see them talking on the bench. You see them talking at practice. There's a really good relationship between them. So it's going to come. And it's going to come, I think, quicker than maybe even Claude Julien expected, because I think Suzuki has played better in a 200-foot game than I think anybody really expected coming into training camp.
I like what the coaching staff has done with Nick Suzuki, that they just haven't thrown him out there, that little by little they're easing him into the NHL so that if he does have a bad shift or a bad game, that it doesn't hurt his confidence. And I think eventually in the near future, that door is going to be wide open for Nick Suzuki to just go out there and play his game and not necessarily need to be protected by the coaching staff.
Yeah, we saw him up in the lineup early in the season. I think it was a little fast for him. And since he's been with Nate Thompson, certainly he looks like he's comfortable there. He's learning on the job. And like you said, someday he may be that centerman. But he's going to get his power play time. I think it's working right now with Thompson, and that's where he should stay for a while. Till he can prove to the coach he belongs up in the lineup, but it's going to take him some time. And I think he's comfortable with Thompson. He's gained his confidence playing with him. And, I like his progress so far.
He's not playing against the other team's top lines with Thompson. He can protect them a little bit more. But Juulsen has stuck with him on the power play. He's been on the power play right from game one, and he's never taken him off. He's left him there. He obviously likes what he's seeing from him. That's going to build the kid's confidence with his offensive skills. And as I said, so that's going to build his offensive confidence, and he's going to learn the defensive game from Nate Thompson.
Do you think a healthy Noah Juulsen can shore up the Habs' blue line?
He can certainly help. Again, it's going to take him some time to certainly readjust to the speed up here. He's got to get himself back in shape down there, and it's kind of mysterious what happened to him. We know we got the puck in the face, maybe concussion, stuff like that, but I worry about his health long term because things, like I said, we're not sure what it is, but if he gets back here and he earns his place and plays well, then he can surely help out. Because I think they need another D-man.
Yeah, they do, and I hope for the kid's sake he can come back. I mean, that hitting the face twice with a puck in the same game, and then to go through, a kid his dream obviously his whole life to play in the NHL. You get there, you start getting your feet wet, you start getting a regular spot, and then this happens, and everything he's gone through since, not only physically but emotionally. Imagine he's worried if his career is over or what's going on. So they're not going to rush him. Obviously, he's in Laval. They're going to let him play there, but it'd be really nice to see the kid be able to come back up. And yes, I think he could make a difference if he's the player he was before he took the 2 pucks in the face.
Yeah, especially he was one of the prospects that a lot of people were really excited to see what kind of player that he'd be able to develop into. And it was a little bit nerve-wracking because there was so much, mystery around him that he came back, he was down in Laval, and then all of a sudden, for the rest of last year, he was shut down, and then we didn't get too much of an update from the start of the season. But, let him take his time, make sure that he's 100% healthy before he can come up, and hopefully he can pick up where he left off and have an impact on the Habs blue line.
And another first-round pick. Yeah. That would give them 8 first-round picks. I don't know if there's another team in the NHL who has 8 first-round picks on their roster.
All right, well, that is all for this week's show, which was brought to you by Madison's Restaurant and Bar in downtown Montreal on Drummond Street, across from the Bell Centre, where you can wait out the traffic and enjoy their $10 specials after every Canadiens game. Wouldn't that be nice? Huh? You don't have to deal with all the people? That would be good. Okay, who's your Canadiens MVP at this point in the season? Tell us why in the comments section below. I'm Adam Susser, and we'll see you back here next Thursday.